Welcome to Beats and Boots, the podcast where stories from music and subcultures around the world come together. Here, we want to explore the journey of skinheads and skin girls, road boys and road girls, punks, and everyone part of our subcultures. On each episode, we will dive deep into personal stories, how our guests discovered these scenes, faced challenges, found joy, unity, and identity through music. Join us on Beats and Boots, music and subculture stories. Welcome to Beats and Boots, music and subculture stories. Today's guest is a musician hailing from the Netherlands. He is currently established in Germany. He is part of many bands such as Haymaker, Discharger, and Eastside Dogs. Let's welcome Prick to Beats and Boots. Eastside Dogs, Eastside Dogs, Eastside Dogs. I went to the east side, I met this pack of dogs. The river of my side, my friends, my crew, my family. No bullshit mentality. Eastside Dogs united, together we will never be divided. Welcome, yes. Rick. How are you?
Thanks. Good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation. I'm really excited to hear your story and your perspective of your experience in the subcultures.
Cool.
So could you describe how you first discovered the subcultures, meaning when, where, and how did you first get involved in this scene?
Discovering the subcultures, that's quite interesting. Well, it started as a teenager, like these are all youth subcultures, you know. It started like a teenager from the age of 12, 13, being in middle school, already having this experience, you don't fit in anywhere. And then you hang out with all these other kids who dress differently, listen to different music. That's how it kind of started, you know, like you have some friends who are into metal or like goth or punk. There were like in my hometown, there were a few punks walking around. I was always quite intrigued and impressed by these guys. They look cool. The leather jackets, the mohawks were like, yeah, that's cool. And then you start to dig in that stuff. You're like, yeah, okay, let's see what it's all about. And then I remember we had like this programs on like LimeWire because you can download all this music. So I was like, what's all this music about? And at home there was already there was a lot of music was going on. My dad is a huge music lover, and he was like listening to loads kinds of music, and we used to talk about it. And then I was like, yeah, what's going on? So one of my punk friends was wearing a jacket with all these patches, and I was like Googling these bands and like downloading it. And then I remember I was listening to Exploited.
Exploited? That was like the first band?
Probably one of the first punk bands.
Punk bands. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the first punk, I was listening to that. I was like, whoa. I was like, this is exactly how I feel. You know, like I didn't even understand what they were singing about, but like this energy and this whole thing is like, oh yeah, this is exactly how I feel.
And when is this happening? Like the year?
I was 13 probably. That would be 2003.
Around there, okay.
Probably, yeah. I'm bad with calculating back years and stuff. But yeah, that happened. And then I was also looking through my parents' records and stuff. Happened also like I found this record from Madness. I was like, yo, what's this? It's like, oh, what's this? Yeah, that. And then they told me like, that's ska. I'm like, what is ska? Well, ska is like the specials. And I was like, whoa, cool. And I was looking at this, and then then I found out like there's this thing called skinhead, you know, like it's like between the punk music, reggae, ska, and it was like, oh, this is all the stuff I like. And my parents like complaining, don't walk around like a punk, you look like a homeless. Okay, I'm gonna wear polos. If you like that, I'm gonna wear polos, shave my head. I'm still a punk, but I look neat, you know. So that's how that's how that kind of evolved, yeah. And back in those teenage years, you discover a lot because you meet a lot of people who are mind alike. And in the country that I was living back then, it's not that big, you know. So you have like a small town where I'm from. The next big city is next to it. There's a huge underground scene going on, and like all of the big cities are. Yeah, you can reach it with a train. It's not even 20 minutes. Some cities. Maybe 3 hours, 2 hours, like Amsterdam, Utrecht. It's not even a few hours drive. So you have the chance to experience a lot, see a lot of bands, meet a lot of people. So that's how it started and it evolved. Yeah.
Really lucky to be in that place in that moment and having all that access of that amazing music at your home.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So, was there any specific moment where you realized that this was where I belong? This is where like you connected in a way that you feel you belong to the subcultures?
A specific moment. I cannot really tell you. It's more like the feeling that evolves as you go deeper into hanging out with people who are mind alike, and then if you continue doing that and it becomes something normal, then you feel like you belong there. That's how I see it.
Let's talk a little bit about shaping your identity, right? Like how being part of this subculture influenced your identity, who you are, how music shaped you as you started paying more attention and understanding the lyrics, how that progressively, shaped you and constructing who you are today.
How did it? Yeah, it's like a mindset, really. I believe it's like music is, of course, also a therapy. You know, so if you listen to music, you usually pick out some music which fits the way you feel. You know, I don't think it's more than that. It's a form of expression, really. Yeah.
Have you ever faced a moment of self-reflection, like you thought about where you realize how deep connected and how deeply your life is connected to and have shaped
subculture
you with the subcultures? Yes.
Yeah, that starts when you travel. That starts when you travel. Then you're like, whoa, these people are doing it as well. You know, I remember, like, in the Netherlands, and there were great concerts, no doubt about it, you know. But I remember going to a very big skinhead festival in Germany.
Oh, okay.
For the first time, like
time.
I was barely 18. I was 17 or 18 years old, and some friends from Rotterdam, they were like, "Hey, let's travel just across the border in Germany, and the Foreskins are playing." I was like, "Whoa, yeah!
Oh, wow!
Cool, that's cool." And that was probably 2009. It was like the festival was called 40 Years of Subculture. I remember it really well. And it was like there was a band playing from my country, Razorblade, actually very, very, very awesome band also. And the singer is like the chef of Rebellion Records. They put out really great stuff. But we went there, the Foreskins were playing. It was like this massive concert hall. And I was used to see oi, punk or ska bands in small venues, in pubs. And we went there. It was so big. And there were like people from all over Europe. There were people from France. There were people from Spain. And that was also a moment of like, whoa, yeah, this is what I am. This is what we are. This is the thing that we're doing together, you know? So
yeah. So that was your moment. That was the moment of
that was the moment. And then I was also like, oh, Germany, that's interesting. No, that's big. Mm-hmm. Let's see what's going on there.
Really cool, really cool.
Yeah,
Amazing. Really
yeah.
lucky. Amazing event. How do you get started involving yourself in bands or playing instruments?
Oh.
If you do, how that happened?
How did it happen? I always wanted to make music as a kid, So um, I was a young kid. Like in elementary school, I started doing beatboxing because I wasn't sure like shall I buy a guitar or whatever. I didn't know that well, so I started beatboxing, and then I got in secondary school, like high school, and then yeah, the teacher was like, "Oh, this guy, he wants to make noise all the time. You know what? You can be in the school band. Here's a microphone. Just do whatever you like." So this is how I got in contact with several instruments and stuff, and I had the chance to explore and develop, and yeah, then my time started hanging around with punks and mind alike people, and it was like you want to make some music, and I bought a cheap ass guitar, so I practiced for a few years to get just a few chords right, like nobody told me how to do it, and I was like, oh, I just tried until I could play with stuff like Exploded, Ramones, and I was like, oh yeah, it happens. Then I had a friend from Rotterdam. He was a punk, and like, hey, you want to start a band? And he was like, yeah, what do you want to play? Well, yeah, I have a guitar. And he's like, yeah, but I play guitar way better. So you know what? You can borrow a bass from somebody. So let's start a band, And high school, I had another guy. He was a punk, and he happened to play drums, and that's how back then the Patrons, my first band, got started. So that's kind of
Really?
a long story short, yeah.
And in high school. So you were really, really young, 17, 18.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. And what instruments do you play?
I usually, yeah, my main instrument is bass,
Oh,
and
okay.
I think I can say that I play it quite okay. And next to that, I play a little guitar here and there. So also for my solo stuff, when I play my reggae stuff, I also play parts of guitar. But if there are solos which I think need to be better, I just ask somebody else.
Now, which bands and genders have had the greatest influence on you?
Come
Now,
again?
as an adult, when you stop and reflect, which bands you think really impacted you and influenced you the most?
Which bands influenced me the most? Um, I would say like these classical 82 bands, like I really love stuff like all these skunk bands, like these bands who are mixed with punks and skins, that's what I like. Bands like Infrared, bands like Blitz, Major Accident. These are Crooks. Crooks is also a band that we used to listen to. Like, this is catchy, this is cool, but it's simple. We can do the same. That's how that's how we started. Like, oh,
Okay.
we can do that.
Yes,
We
yes,
started with
yes.
covering these songs. Like, how does it work to make a song? Okay, let's try to play that song. Okay, it works. We make stuff in a style like this. We can do it. So
Now, how has your musical taste evolved as you grow older?
my musical taste is actually quite wide. I listen from Balkan gypsy music to black metal. It's all
Yeah.
there. It's all there. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
what bands or songs are you currently listening? Like you have them in repeat?
I have I've been listening to a lot of Violent Way, actually,
Really?
and yeah, 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 and what I also like is this one band from Mexico. It's called Mess.
Yeah,
That was
Miss.
that's quite cool. And yeah, a lot of Dutch punk I've been listening. Like I was kind of nostalgic listening to some stuff from my country the last few days. But it changes all the time, and I'm always looking for something new.
So let's talk a little bit about the importance of finding others, like the community in the scenes. You have traveled a lot, so you have seen many different like communities and different scenes and subcultures. Um, how important it is for people in the subculture to find and support each other.
It's in every country. It's quite funny because it's a lot of it is the same, but every country is different as well. So how it comes to some countries have all of these gangs and stuff, and in some countries nobody gives a shit about who you belong to. But I do believe it's very important that we acknowledge that we need each other to keep surviving. Our music, you know, that's the thing. Like we need to connect. We need to share our stuff with each other. And I also believe we need to stop pointing the fingers at each other, because if we stop doing that, you end up with all these little groups and everybody hates each other. I don't want that shit. I really don't.
Yeah, for sure. We need to support the unity in this big community. We are all spread out around the world.
Now, that's what I'm trying to preach, is this unity. You know, that's in the end we only have each other. And different communities. Yeah, definitely. I was quite impressed with the scene in Chile. I need to tell you, that was awesome. I was playing there, and we played somewhere in like it looked like a squat. It was like in a square in a garage box. It was really cool. It was a lot of guys, girls, punks, skins, whatever. And I remember there was one of these bands playing, and like I felt like tears rolling from my eyes, because I'm like, whoa!
It was feeling.
It was like kind of the energy that I'm partially missing in Europe.
Oh, really?
It's really like this honest energy, this punk rock energy that I remember from being way younger in these squats and stuff. You're like this pure fucking energy, like that. Yeah.
That's really interesting. So, continuing the conversation about the joy of the good things that being part of the subculture bring to us, what bring you the most joy about being a musician and playing in shows?
It's just experiencing all this energies and people enjoying, and this music is the thing I love. You know, it's the thing. It's also the thing you live, and also now as this whole thing is now my profession. You know, I feed the family with the thing I do, and it's simple as that. You know, it's just being part of it. Yeah, that's great. And traveling, meeting all these people, seeing all these bands play. You can learn from everyone. You know, you can.
That is true. That is true. Traveling definitely is like a key part of understanding and experiencing the subcultures.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
Now, continue with the thinking of unity that you just mentioned before. What does the sense of brotherhood in the scenes mean to you? How does it feel to share it with others? And how can we truly improve that and generate more spaces of unity and community?
Keep talking, keep sharing. Keep visiting each other, keep getting bands over, getting crews over.
Supporting bands
or organize stuff together, you know. If you and if you want to get a band from overseas, you know, get your crew together. Somebody takes off his hat, everybody puts a little money in it. You know, that's how you get more unity worldwide, and I believe we need it worldwide as well.
That was part of the objective of this project. Truly, I wanted to talk about, you know, the shared experience.
For example, I could give another shout out to my guys from Chile, Hoy Fin del Mundo, you know, Sur Obrero, Los Dead, my bros, you know, hermanos.
and that should be the focus, right? Looking for that support worldwide, because as you said, we are in different places, different cultures. We definitely have differences, but we share so much more things. Like we see each other around, and we can identify each other no matter where we are.
Yeah,
and that's powerful.
A cool thing about Chile was also we were just chilling at the hostel because we had some free time, and then one of these guys was like, "Whoa, you guys are just like us!" And like, yeah, isn't that cool? Isn't that cool?
I know. You know, I'm from Puerto Rico, a little island in the Caribbean.
I know where it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and the experience was different for what you experienced. The access to the music, it was difficult. It was, but as soon as I start traveling and realizing, you know, exactly that feeling that you described, it's
Yeah,
like,
but I do hear some stuff that there's stuff going on in Puerto Rico, but I don't know if it's that much. What happens there is are there any bands active? I don't know.
yes, definitely. Yeah, many bands in all the genders, in all the cultures, but the scene itself, you can't, no, I thought it was big when I was in, when I started and I was 12, like around 2000. But as soon as, you know, I had access to see the other scenes, it was small, but yeah, many bands and many things happening in Puerto Rico for sure. Before we conclude the interview, I wanted to talk to you about, and you talked already about it, but anything that you want to add about what changes or improvements would you like to see in the subculture moving forward? What do you think can get better?
I would really like to see a stop to the division of the scene.
That's definitely the main message, right?
Absolutely. Please just accept everybody for who they are.
So before we wrap up, can you tell us about your upcoming performances in 2025?
If I can talk, if I can tell anything about it, well, there's a lot going on. Let's see. Here's my agenda. Let's see. There's well,
At least the beginning of the 2025.
well, I will be playing in Czech Republic end of January with
That's the first show for 2025. Awesome. So thank you so very much, Rick, for being here and joining me today to have this amazing conversation about your experiences and how you started and developed in these subcultures.
Cool.
Truly, thank you so much. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Remember to check out our Spotify playlist featuring Prick's music recommendations. This was Naya Madi. Until our next episode of Beats and Roots, Music and Subculture Story.
We are the dogs from the Eastside.